Welcome to the Knighthood Podcast, a 30-minute weekly catch-up on all things Newcastle Knights with your hosts, Michael and James. So strap in and let's go. Hey James, how's it going, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. Glad to be here again. I think it's round 4 and our 5th actual episode, but also great to be here after a Knights victory, which we'll get into tonight.
Mate, you've got the jersey on.
I had to do it. We got the victory, and I was just like, spur of the moment thing. I thought I'm going to bust out the jersey. It's pretty tight, I shouldn't be wearing it out in public, but yeah, the physique doesn't really cut it, but it's good enough for this.
It cuts well here in our film, so it looks good.
Glad to hear.
I might crank out a Knights cap or something next few weeks. We'll see how we go.
Do it.
Mate, great to see the Knights get up. Let's get straight into the content. We're going to be doing the round 3 review and the round 4 preview for the Newcastle Knights 2024 season. Just a bit of an overview. So we'll do a comprehensive review. We'll run over our Knighthood Player of the Year 3-2-1, go over the NRL ladder, have a message from our season sponsor, MB Optimal Oral Care. Then we'll get into the second half of the show where we run over our injury and suspension update for both teams. We'll be running over the round 4 teams list on Teams List Tuesday. Then we'll be also going over our key points to consider for the round 4 match against the Warriors on Sunday. And then we'll be running over our Topsport round 3 betting tally for the year and running over our round 4 predictions and tips. So let's get into the team stats. We're going to start with possession and completions. The Knights ran at 52% compared to the Storm 48%. Time in possession was 29 minutes for the Knights and 27 minutes for the Storm. And the completion rate was at 75% for the Knights, 69% for Melbourne, quite low. Do you have any thoughts on those stats there, James?
Yeah, it's still, the completion rate's still a bit of a worry. You want to be getting over that 80%, and but that's been the tale of the first 3 rounds, hasn't it? Really low completions and quite a few errors, but possession looked pretty even. But yeah, they've got to get that completion rate better.
Well, the main thing is here in this point, we won these stats, and at the end of the day, it was a close game, and that's all maybe it takes right now is just. If you hold the ball and execute reasonably well, you should win most matches. Let's have a look at the attack stats. So Newcastle Knights ran all runs meters was 1764 in comparison to 1679. So we won that. Post contact meters, we won 598 meters to 572. So slightly better. Line breaks, Melbourne won 4 line breaks to 2. Tackle breaks were even at 41 each. Average set distance, the Knights edged out the Storm 44 meters per set compared to 43. Kick return meters was 117 for the Knights. We edged out the Storm at 109, and the average play the ball speed, I can't see that there, James. Can you? Oh, there it is. So 3.37 for the Knights and 3.46 for the Storm. So God, I don't know how the guys at the NRL are actually measuring that. How could you really rely on that? It's an odd stat, but look. Okay, so we played the ball slightly faster. Yeah,
which is good because I'd noticed the previous weeks that we were slower than both the Raiders and the Cowboys. So it's good that we improved.
So from your eye, are you saying that we improved, or from the stat?
Well, I actually didn't notice it. I didn't notice a quicker play the ball, but going off that, I'm going to run with that. But
okay, yeah. Right. Well, look, it was very even. At least the main thing is that it didn't look obvious that we were slower than the Storm. Yeah. Nothing really else points out there too much, except that all run meters. We continue to win week on week here, so I think that's actually 3 weeks in a row we won those stats. So we are doing pretty well in our attack stats. Obviously, our execution and stuff is a different story. Kicking, These are also stats that I've been pretty impressed with the first 3 rounds. We did here 689 meters compared to the Storm 607. And we'll get into the segmented player stats a little bit later, coming up next. You can see that we're mixing the kicking up pretty well, I think, within the side. So one key stat there is kick defusal at 62%. That may have something to do with the wingers. I know Jenkins dropped on and made an error.
Too, didn't he?
Yeah. So that's a little bit of a concern, the kick defusal, especially coming up this week against SJ. But overall, it's good that we are, I think, mixing up the kicking a bit, and we are generally making more meters. Except the Raiders definitely took us to school there with Fogarty in the first one.
Yeah.
Defense, our effective tackle rate was 87% compared to the Storm at 88%. And I will point out here that we were much higher in the first half compared to the second half. Don't have those stats on hand, but I remember looking at it at halftime, and we were very good in the first half, and then it really slipped quite a lot in the second half. So tackles made overall, we made slightly less tackles at 350 compared to the Storm 366. Missed tackles even at 41 apiece. And I think we were under 10 missed tackles for the first half. So we really piled on the missed tackles in the second half. I think we were lucky to hold on. Only the clock probably, did us a favor. So yeah, let's move on to the next one, which is negative play. 12 errors to the Knights, 13 errors for the Storm, pretty even, and still way too many errors. We should always be under 10. Completion rate over 80%, errors under 10. Pretty fundamental stats that we should be hitting each week on week, and hopefully we can move towards that. Penalties conceded, 4 to the Knights, 5 to the Storm. Ruck infringements, 1 each, and inside 10, 1 to the Knights, 0 to the Storm. So no team really got screwed over by the ref. I don't think there was any major decisions in this match with the ref that really impacted the match, which was good. So yeah, the overall, they're the stats. Any final thoughts there, James?
No, I mean, it pretty much sums up what I saw. I mean, pretty even as well. When you went back a bit further, we don't seem to be having any dramas making meters. I'd actually say that we tend to maybe start off sets not as strong because of, we don't have like a Dom Young anymore, for instance. But the forwards are rolling forward, and we're holding our own in that respect and dominating and actually getting more meters. So
okay, well,
yeah, I think we're doing well for the most part.
This next slide is a good one because it actually breaks down the stats in a little bit more detail. So let's get into it. The back five, so the fullback, wingers, and centers ran for 823 meters for an average of 164 meters per player. So I don't have last year's stats in front of me, but I think that's actually pretty high average per player in the back five. And even though we don't have Dom Young, and it may not to the eye look like we aimed up there as well, the stats are actually telling us something different. And last week we actually beat what we did last week. Last week we were 633 of average 126. So yeah, this week the back five really did aim up. Ponga led the way with 202. I know Bradman Best got about 174, and I noticed that even though he's not doing any of the fancy stuff, he is doing a lot of the hard work. So yeah, the back five is doing pretty well on stats. Starting middle forwards ran for 327, so that's 8, 10, and 13. Last week they ran for 391, so the middles did a little bit less than the previous week. JSAF this week led at 123. Starting back row ran for 236, which was slightly more than last week at 214. KPP led the way at 145. Pretty impressive there from KPP.
He's improving every game.
He is.
Every game he's getting better. Yep.
Didn't look like he ran that many meters to the eye, but the stats do show that he was, I think, the leading forward. The bench ran for 201 meters on an average of 50 compared to last week at 260. an average of 65. DSAF led the way at 79. But I will say here that I think the bench was one of the key reasons we didn't perform so well in the second half. I think we definitely lack some impact there. We can get into that in a bit more detail soon. The halves and the hooker ran for 171 in comparison to last week, 145, and that was with Hastings on board. So, sorry, that should say Cogger. Cogger led at 73. Kicking meters gamble was 306, which I referred to previously. I think we're mixing up the kicking quite well. Cogger got 239 and Ponga got 71. So I think overall there's a good sort of mix up there with the kicking. Goals, Ponga 3 from 300%, basically won us the game from his boot. And offloads, we've got Frizzell at 2, KPP at 2, Ponga at 1. Our offload rate is low. If you look at a match like the Eels versus Manly, the difference I think there was the offloads from Para. Maybe this is a tactic from O'Brien and the team early in the season, and the KPP doesn't have a license to offload at this stage until he settles in and gets the basics right. But I'd like to see them offload more as they get more settled and more confidence going throughout the year. Let's move on to line breaks. Gay Guy made 1, Tuala made 1. So only 2 line breaks, and we lost in line breaks to the Storm. Tackle breaks, Ponga made 9. That's quite a lot compared to what he did last week. Gay Guy 7, Jenkins 5. Tries, Tuala 1, Gay Guy 1, try assist, Ponga 1, Gamble 1. Top tacklers, KPP, 39 tackles, 2 missed. Gamble, 34 tackles, 3 missed. Elliott, 33 tackles, 5 missed. And Crossland, 33 tackles, 2 missed. Low tackle efficiency. So the worst tacklers were Best at 69%, Gay Guy at 79%, and JSAF at 80%. Errors was Jenkins 2, Cogger 2. They were both critical. Errors from Elliott was 2. KPP also made 2. And the people that gave away the penalties are the players. Gamble 1, Crossland 1, Frizzell 1, and Thompson 1. Not too bad there. Any thoughts there, James, on those stats? Anything stick out to you?
Can you just go back to it for a sec? Oh, there we go. Yep, sorry, got it.
I'll go back to the first slide.
Line break. No, that's all right. I go back to the other one. Sorry, go forward. Yeah, yep, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, it's good to see KPP getting in there, making tackles. And, you know, when I look across the board here with the top tacklers, not as many missed tackles, particularly Phoenix Crossland here. I mean, he's been making a lot of tackles lately, but
that's a good point.
Yep. Elliott missed 5. I'm not sure how critical they were. But no, it's quite good. Errors. Got
Elliott's
Jenkins.
a hot and cold player, Elliott. I don't know. He's He's a hot and cold player. It's jury's still out on Elliott.
You know, Cogger made a couple of errors in that first half, from what I recall.
Yeah, they were critical.
Jenkins, I think one led to that try by Pappenhausen, if I recall.
Shocker.
So yeah, critical, and he got good grabs on him as well. So he's got to take those. Yeah,
or even diffuse it. I mean, look, it's easy to be a couch surfer and couch player, but if you're kind of in that situation, you're on the try line and you know you're not going to grab the ball, maybe just knock it away. Yeah, smash it back. You know, it's these errors will be critical down the track in more important games, and hopefully we can scrub them out. I mean, you got to give Cogger, I guess, a bit of a break. He was under a fair bit of pressure coming in there. He did only make 2 errors, but they were pretty critical errors. And yeah, I mean, let's not harp on it. We won.
That's it.
Let's go to the press conference notes. So we watched the press conferences for you guys, and you don't have to sit there and watch these things. They can be quite dry sometimes, especially waiting around for them to turn on. But O'Brien was relieved that they got the 2 points. He said it was much needed and the team's improving. He didn't want the headlines of another loss. If they were 0-3 going in, potentially go to 0-4, they would have been under way more pressure than what they are this week. First half was good, but they made it hard for themselves in the second half. Hopefully this kickstarts more wins He said some big individual moments made a big difference. For example, Frizzell and Jay Saff, they made some good tackles. I particularly remember those two from Frizzell. They were awesome tackles. He said there's no answer for why the team's not performing in the second half. He was asked about it, and I've got some stats that we'll get to on that. Good to have Brayley back. Ponga, his comments were he was happy to win at home. There was a ton of effort, and he said the mindset was right coming into the match. He said the middle was loose, particularly in the second half, and the team had a good attitude. So they're the points from the presser. And we're going to get to our key points here of the match, our final summary. James, let's run through your points.
Yeah, just got here. Strong first half in both attack and defense, with Kalen Ponga being dangerous whenever he touched the ball. I just thought he was very he was involved a lot. He was playing very upbeat. And basically he was a threat to the Melbourne defense during that first half, and also in the second half, but more so in that first half. I've got here the second half followed the trend of the past two games, with errors creeping into the Knights game, giving the opposition opportunities in good attacking position. I've found the last two games that they've made not too many errors in the first, and then they make critical errors in the second half. And it just it's putting unwanted pressure, and they're just gassing themselves. So, it's just hopefully they can change that around, and they'll have to against the Warriors, otherwise they'll get pumped.
They will.
And the final point here, I've got a much-needed win, which wasn't pretty to watch, but was built off the back of a solid defensive display. It wasn't a great game to watch, really, but we're just glad to get the 2 points.
Yeah, I didn't mind watching the game. Went pretty fast for me. I'm on X making comments, and so if everyone out there, basically what we do is we get on X and we make comments at key moments during the match. So yeah, definitely jump on X and get in there and encourage your mates to get on there, and you can kind of, or we can all interact together as a clan and make comments about what's going on during the match. I'll run into my points here. So I think we got the win, and I think we deserved it. Definitely, look, the boys aimed up. 14-0 in the first half was really good, and as I made notes on X at key moments, basically what the key thing that stood out to me in the first half is that we made errors, but we defended them. So Gamble kicked out in the full, Cogger kicked out in the full. We defended both of those. Then Cogger, we got a penalty, and then Cogger's second tackle drops it. So we're making real crap errors. And this is a common thing for the Knights. You don't really see it amongst a lot of other teams. It's shit. But the main thing is that you defend those errors, and we did that. And then we went on and we scored 2 really good tries, and we defended well. We went in at 14-0. I was wrapped. I thought it was
absolutely
really good first half. And then I made a comment. My thoughts were, okay, what if you're the coach in the sheds? Like, what are the focal points moving forward? Well, obviously, after the Cowboys loss, you're going to be really. The team would have been aware of what happened, and it might have even made them a bit nervous. But they can't say they weren't prepared to come out in that second half. So basically, all they had to do is come out and put all their energy into those first 10 minutes. Wayne Bennett famously says it: the first 10 minutes in the second half is the most important time pretty much in the match. Obviously got to be in it in the first half, but the first 10 minutes, and then what happens? We kind of hang in there, but after 10 minutes, Melbourne score, and then we start going down this, track again of losing a bit of confidence and letting Melbourne into the match. It goes into an arm wrestle. And then, that Thompson gives away a penalty, and then Thompson misses a one-on-one tackle. And then they scored, and you're thinking, oh God, here we go again. 4 minutes to go, same as what happened last week. Are they going to lose it here? And luckily we didn't. So look, we deserve the win. The stats show that the effort was there, and overall, I thought the spine is unsettled with Brayley and Cogger into the team. I think we still lack team unity, and obviously we still don't know whether O'Brien has made the right decisions. Hastings led the reserve grade team to a win And they actually were almost last on the ladder, and the Bears, I think, were almost first on the ladder. So Hastings went and had a blinder. I think he did like 4 or 5 try assists or something like that, and led the team around to a massive victory. And they were huge underdogs. They were paying like $4. I looked at the odds before that match, and I was actually considering betting on them because of Hastings. And I also saw Will Price in there at 6, and he also scored 2 really good tries for everyone out there. We won't go into the Reggie stuff too much, but Will Price.
But you want to see that from Hastings, don't you? You want to
yeah,
see
and
him
also
doing that.
Well, look, he had a blinder, probably man in the match. So I thought that was good, and look, overall, the spine is still unsettled, but it was good to see Brayley get through, a match and not be injured. And I think his service out of dummy half was really good, and I think hopefully it's really key this year that he stays fit and he slides into this team, even if he plays 30 minutes a match. If he stays fit and plays 30 minutes a match, it's going to help us a long way to making the finals and also making the top 4. I think the bench let us down, and there has been some changes from O'Brien this week, which we'll get into. But I thought we had no impact from our bench, and I thought we were pretty ordinary there. The Knights, a key stat here to wrap up the review is that our first halves, we've won 32-8 over 3 games. So awesome, right? Against teams that are all in the top 8, 2 of those teams are in the top 4. Our second halves, we've lost 14-53. I think it's highly concerning. What are your thoughts, James?
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious their second halves haven't been good, and the thing is, O'Brien's like he doesn't know what to say about it, but he's got to find a solution. He's got to get it right because
he doesn't. You know what? He doesn't know what to say about it. He got challenged in the press conference. He dashed away from it. Palmed it off. He's got a better fend than KPP in the press conference.
But I think
well,
it's got to be a mental thing, though, doesn't it? You're coming out of the sheds. You should be pumped. You shouldn't be going out, with lazy attitude.
Well, if you say it's a mental thing, I mean, this happened. It's a common theme against. It's not something new. This happened in previous seasons with O'Brien there. I mean, what is he? What are they doing in the sheds at half time? It's just. Anyway, let's not harp on it too much.
There. What are they doing in the sheds?
Yeah. Well, anyway, let's. If anyone knows, put it in the comments. Rightio. We are going to move on to the 3-2-1 player of the year. James, who did you give 3-2 and 1-2 for this match?
Yeah, so my 3 points went to Kalen Ponga. I just thought he was outstanding in that first half. He really made a difference. He was just in everything. The team looked a lot quicker. While he was a constant threat. While he wasn't, didn't seem as much of a threat in the second half due to how just the team played in the second half. I thought he was easily our best player. And he made over 200 meters. So he was my 3. I picked Dane Gagai for number 2. He scored a try. I thought he was, again, really solid. He's been probably one of our best players for the first 3 rounds. And I gave 1 point to KPP. I just think he's improving every week, and hope he continues on that trajectory because he's obviously got a heap of potential. If he can work out a good offload or gets a licensed offload, I think he's going to be a major threat out in the edge.
Yep. Don't disagree with that. I gave 3 points to Kalen Ponga. As I mentioned before, 3 from 3 kicking, 100%, won us the match on his boot. 1 try assist with that beautiful cutout pass to Tuala, and he ran for 201 meters. Lots of tackle breaks. I think once the spine settles down, he's starting to, and he wasn't even on this ladder, which we'll get to in a second. But you'll see where he's sitting after just 1 blinder, basically. Well, I wouldn't call it a blinder. I'd call it a really solid performance. KPP, he got 2 for me. I just think off these stats, 145 through the meters gained and 39 tackles with only 2 missed and also 2 offloads, leading the offloads, leading the meters for the forwards and leading the tackles. He topped the tackle count and the meters. So How could you not give him 2? And look, it's very encouraging. He's obviously got a lot of talent. His frame is built for the back row. He's he's a long-term lock at back row for me. And if they can just, like you said, get him, get him in the right one-on-one positions and get his hands free, which is not hard for him. It's going to be very, very good. And Tyson Gamble, look, everyone, I see a lot of shit given to Gamble.
I like him.
I like him. I think he's been pretty solid, and he only, he did that one bad error. He kicked out in a full, but it's one error, and they defended it. That the team defended the error. He kicked for 306 meters. He made 34 tackles as a 5'8", missed 3 tackles. Pretty damn good. That's a massive stat. I mean, I've not seen stats like that in the halves for a Knights player I haven't. Not that I've been reviewing them year on year, but I mean that's a lot of tackles. 34 tackles from a 5'8". So they clearly targeted him, but he aimed up. He only missed 3 tackles.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of traffic at him and handled it.
And he try-assisted Gay Guy, right? So yeah, he gets 1 point, and I think he personally cops too much flack. He has a lot of talent. I do think Will Price is more talented than him, and you look at some of his touches on if you go to New South Wales Rugby League, you can look at the match highlights of reserves, and he scored some really, really good tries, running 5'8", very skillful. Special mentions to Frizzell. Brilliant try-saving tackles when Melbourne were coming for us. Gay Guy's, he's just having a really good season. Looks really sharp. It's funny that his contract's expiring. Anyway, maybe they should all be on 1-year contracts. I thought Best, like I said previously, did a lot of hard yards, a lot of stuff that not unflashy stuff. And Tuala, he also ran for, I think, 199 meters.
Yep.
From memory. And look, he was solid. He was really solid. So good game from Tuala. And there you go. The back 5. Even though Jenkins is not great at coming out of the back, they still overall as a team and unit aimed up. That is our 3-2-1. The ladder is looking like this. We've got Dane Gagai on 7 points. Caleb Ponga gets a man in a match from me and James and goes straight to 6. Jacob Safidi's on 6 points. Adam Elliott's on 5. KPP at 3. Leo Thompson at 3. Greg Marju at 2. Phoenix Crossland on 1. Tyson Frizzell, Daniel Safidi, Tyson Gamble all on 1. The NRL ladder, the top 8. Cowboys, Roosters, Raiders, Panthers, Sea Eagles, Eel, Dolphin, and Storm. Interesting thing there is that we've played 3 of those sides. Cowboys at 1st, Raiders at 3rd, and Storm at 8. We are sitting in 13th position on the ladder. Now, this is obviously going to be a bit skewed because some teams do have buys. And at this point in time, 1 from 3. What are your thoughts there, James? 1 from 3. Have we made a good start to the year? Are we below par, or above par?
It's hard to say, to be honest. I mean, we were horrible in that first game. We showed a lot of improvement against the Cowboys, lost the game. We were the better team against Melbourne. We won. So I'd say it's sort of par at the moment. But
okay.
we definitely could have won. We should have won last week against the Cowboys. So we could have been 2 and 3.
Well, if you ask me that question, it's going to be
no.
Because we've had
subpar.
We've had 2 home matches. We should be 2 from 3 on paper. I think that loss to the Raiders will come back and bite us, whether it's for a top 4 position or a top 8 position at the end of the year. So, time will tell. And we can square that up this week against the Warriors. If we win a match that we generally weren't expected to win on the road with a bad record there in New Zealand, we'll be 2 from 2. And that's 2 home games, 2 away games. So the Knights need to win this week to get on par. We'll get into our preview pretty soon. Rightio. But right now, what we're going to do is get onto a message from our season sponsor, MB Optimal Oral Care. MB, Optimal Oral Care, are our season sponsor of the Knighthood podcast. They have a range of zero plastic oral care products that are best for you and best for the planet. You can check out their full range of products via Chemist Warehouse online. Find the link in the description. Thanks, MB Optimal Oral Care. They make awesome oral care products, zero plastic, so you can save a turtle. Their tongue scrapers are the best tongue scrapers in Australia, designed by Australian dentist, endorsed by an Australian dentist. And tongue scraping is the new mouthwash, but in a natural way. You don't have to rinse your mouth with a chemical-based mouthwash. The best way to actually have fresh breath and good oral health is to scrape your tongue before you brush your teeth. And thanks again, MB, for giving the Knighthood podcast a yearly sponsorship, and you can find their products online at Chemist Warehouse. Search MBOOC. We're going to now run into injuries and suspensions. The Knights' injuries and suspension list looks like this. Greg Barju is still out, likely to be out for a few more weeks. Leo Thompson suspended for a week. Let's actually go into that, James. What are your thoughts on the Leo Thompson suspension?
Well, I mean, we sort of spoke about it prior to going to air, but I thought, what could he do? You know, they always say it's the duty of care on, but I just thought it was like, where could he go? His eyes were on the ball. Pappenhausen had jumped to such a level that he clipped him, and I mean, I think Pappenhausen was just as at fault for what happened and how he fell. And at the end of the day, he wasn't injured, was he? So, like, just play on. That's just me.
No, look, I totally agree. I'm going to be a bit more straight to it. It wasn't even a penalty. Okay. In terms of duty of care, Pappenhausen jumping in the air, he could have kneed Thompson in the head. Who knows? Where's the duty of care to Thompson? So it goes both ways. And he was, I mean, what are these Muppets doing? Like, what a stupid. It's not even a penalty. Fair enough. The drama of it gets a penalty, but it should stay at that. The fact that he's been given 2 weeks is absolute joke. And what even is a further joke is the fact that the Knights are not challenging it. Why don't the Knights go to the judiciary and challenge things? They've got a history of not doing it. I mean, right now we're going up against the Warriors. We just mentioned that we're below par. We've only won 1 out of 2 home games, 1 out of 3 matches. Don't you want to go to New Zealand with all of your players on deck? I think it's a ridiculous decision from the NRL, and I think it's I'm even more upset that we didn't challenge it.
I think it's more the Knights knowing, regardless of how they felt, they probably wanted to challenge it, but they knew that the NRL wouldn't budge, and he'd end up with a 2-week suspension regardless. So they just thought, we'll take the 1 week and cop it.
And I'd rather go down on my sword, because that's just rubbish. And they should go to the NRL and make a stance and say, listen here, this is rubbish. And go and get a good lawyer and make a good defense. Anyway, let's move on. Christian Mapalangi is part of that injury list, and he's unlikely to be back for another couple of weeks. And then we've got also Riley Jones. I believe he's still injured. One of the key things that we do here on Knighthood Podcast is we have a full strength rating. So our squad at the moment is at a full strength rating of 88%, which is quite high. We're only missing the 2 there. So Marju are outside back and Thompson a middle forward. Pretty even spread. Not impossible to cover. Let's have a look at the Warriors. Clockstad, he's a big loss, but he's the only loss out of their top 17 in their top 30 squad. So there's a 94% full strength rating here for the Warriors, something that we should be really wary of. And another reason to go to the judiciary and challenge.
Yeah, it's going to be it's going to be a tough ask for the Knights to go over there with the Warriors at full strength. But I
don't know, man. I've had my say, and I'm not happy about it.
I agree with you.
Let's go into the round 3 teams list for the backs. Do you want to run us through these, James?
Yep, I'll do my best with my old man eyes, but I'm just trying to read them. Okay, so at fullback for the Knights, we've got Kalen Ponga, winger Thomas Jenkins, centers Dan Gagai and Bradman Best, Anari Tuala on the other wing. The halves, we've got Tyson Gamble and Jack Cogger. For the Warriors, we've got Roger Tuivasa-Sheck at fullback. We've got Watini Zelezniak on the wing. We've got Rocco Berry and Adam Pompey in the centers. On the other wing for the Warriors, we've got Marcelo Montoya. And in the halves, we've got Luke Metcalf and SJ.
Yeah, well, here we go again, up against the Warriors in New Zealand. And not only are they at a 94% strength rating, they've got RTS at fullback. I think that's going to be a luck stroke for them. I don't see him so much as a centre. I reckon he's going to have a blinder. Hopefully, Ponga has a blinder as well. But I'm quite concerned. I think here we're missing our starting wingers. I mean, it's arguable whether Tawala is our starting winger. But let's say he is. Well, we're missing Marju there, and we've got Jenkins. I think Jenkins could be exposed. I'm concerned by his errors last week. Concerned by his lack of meters coming out of the back. Even though as a unit they operated well, I'd be targeting Jenkins.
Yeah.
They're really strong in the outside backs. I think we're up for a massive challenge here. The Warriors, they're going to be desperate as well. Let's go into the forwards. What do you got there, James?
All right. In the front row for the Knights, we've got Jacob Saifidi and his brother Daniel Saifidi coming in for the suspended Leo Thompson. I won't get you started on that again. At hooker, we got Phoenix Crossland. In the back row, we got Tyson Frizzell and the ever-improving Kai Pearce-Paul. And at lock, we got Adam Elliott. He needs a big one this week. He sort of went back down a bit, but yeah. All right, for the Warriors in the front row, we got Adam Fanua-Blake and Mitch Barnett, ex-Knights player. Yep. Hooker Wade Egan. In the back row, we got Jackson Ford and Kurt Capewell and Tohu Harris at lock.
Yeah, well, it's AFB. The big AFB. Look, I said it in our season preview. The Safidis need to aim up. And if there's a match that the Knights, Safidis boys need to aim up, it's this match, huh? They're both starting. Yep. So that's my call. They got to aim up. They're potentially elite forwards, but they're inconsistent. Although I've been really impressed with them this year, to be honest. I really think that they are in good form, and this is it. These are the matches they got to step up. Are they going to do it? Yes or no? We'll find out. But overall, our pack's settled, and I'm excited by the fact that the Safidi twins are starting here. It could be actually it's like Sheck starting for them at fullback. I think this could be lucky for us. It wouldn't have happened if Thompson was there, so there's a good chance that this actually works in our favour. Our pack has been actually aiming up this year. I think it's going to be a real hard-fought battle here. Pretty even battle. Tohu Harris, man, he's a really good player. I give the edge here to the Warriors pack. A slight edge because they're more experienced, more settled. Let's run to interchange and reserves. How's your eyes there, old man?
I'm leaning close. All right. On the bench for the Knights, we have Jaden Brayley at 14, Matt Croker, Jack Hetherington coming in. Or was he there last week? I can't remember.
He was injured. Yep.
Yeah, so we've got Jack Hetherington and Brody Jones at number 17. For the Warriors, we've got Freddie Lussick, Murata Niokora, Bunty Afoa, and Dylan Walker at number 17. Reserves for the Knights, we've got Dylan Lucas, Jed Cartwright, Thomas Cant, Will Price, Jackson Hastings, and for the Warriors, we've got Thomas Ale, Jazz Tabonga, Chanel Harris DeVita, haven't heard that name for a while, Tamari Martin, and I can't pronounce that one, man. Ali Leitua.
Yep.
Sorry, man. Sorry, I got it wrong.
Ah, you got the very last one, but it wasn't bad.
Got to get the glasses going.
Yeah. We're both in our early 40s, so we need glasses.
Yeah.
Look, Walker versus Brayley. More impact there from Walker. Then Lussack, Nikore, and Atoa probably get the edge over Crocker, Hetherington, and Jones. So I thought our bench lacked a bit last week. It's changed now because we've seen Lucas has been dropped. Jones has come in. and Hetherington's come back from injury. Crocker's retained his spot, but I thought Crocker this year, just in general, he's only played one game, but something's going up with him. He needs to have a big match. He's on notice. He's the knighthood player on notice this week. Matt
He's got to
Crocker.
fire up.
He's got to aim up.
But looking at the Knights bench there, it's not a whole lot of X factor or Jack Hetherington will have an impact off the bench. But the other guys are pretty similar players. They're just toilers. Brayley's not, he's a good player, but he's not going to trouble the team. Yeah,
But there's the one point I'm going to make here about the Knights side is that there's no threat out of the 9 jersey. So both Crossland and Brayley are not really strong runners. And that'll be emphasised with Brayley this year. He's not going to have confidence to be taken on the line and making darts. So I think it's a massive weakness for us, the fact that we don't have any punch there out of hooker. And that puts more pressure on our forward pack. So, and also on players like Elliott. Actually, Elliott probably should get in and make some darts out of 9. He's the player to do it. He's the lock. Maybe that'd be a good tactic, actually. But yeah, overall, I'm rating the Warriors squad and 17 stronger than what we've got to show here. And let's get into it. So the summary for the preview here is that the Knights have a poor record against the Warriors. We can all remember what happened to us last year in the semi-final. We got smashed. The Knights spine are still unsettled, and we only have an 88% strength rating compared to the Warriors. They're 94%. I feel like the Warriors side and spine and side in general are more settled, and I feel like our spine is quite unsettled. And still, the fact that we don't have a good record there, we've got an unsettled spine, we're slightly under strength compared to the Warriors. I don't think things are looking good for us this week. Logically, I think the Warriors have a lot of edges here, and the other concerning thing for us is that both teams are on 1 from 3. So what that means is the Warriors are not going to be complacent. They're going to be going for our heads. They're going to be confident from last year. In my eye, they've clearly got edges. I think they're raging hot favourites. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, they're playing at home. They'll be playing in front of a hostile crowd. I'm being biased, but I think the Knights are going to be up for this one. I think they're going to put in a good performance. I'm maybe I'm going purely from my heart, but I think we're gonna get home in this one.
Wow, that's a big call.
It is.
It is. All right. Well, we'll get into our final predictions on the Topsport betting update. So let's get into our season betting tally. So a key thing for the Knighthood podcast, we want to have a good track record with our tips. So we go through a process here every week, and that process is looking at stats, looking at press conferences, looking at news and media, seeing what key figures are saying about the side. And we have the opportunity to kind of sit back after the matches and look at all this stuff. And then on Tuesday nights, come up with a pretty comprehensive review. And that's the reason why we actually don't do it straight after the match, is because we want to make this comprehensive and concise and accurate information that we can make better decisions with. So at this point in time in the season, if you back the Knights head to head, and let's say they were going to back you back them to win every match. The Knights have a 1 in 3 strike rate at 33%. You'd be losing $120 with the bookies. If you follow James's tips, he's at 66%. He has a 2 in 3 strike rate, and he's made $161, and that's from betting $100 per match. So well done, James.
I'm on fire, apparently. Don't know how, but
well, mate, if you can continue that strike rate at 66%, and you've also landed a $3.20 winner last week. You backed the Knights at 1 to 12. You put the $400 bet on it. And now you're sitting pretty because you didn't back the Knights against the Cowboys. You sat on the fence. So basically, what happens here? We're both red and blue in the veins. We can't back against the Knights, but to make this a fair tally for the year, if we back against the Knights, we get on our tally the winning odds of the winning side. So look, mate, you're well in front there. $161 off only risking $100 a week. Well done. Well done. Hats off. Now I went another way last week. I went the 1 to 12. But I put $50 on 1 to 12, and I put $50 on Bradman Best to score a try, anytime try scorer. So I hedged my bets. I thought there was a chance the Knights may lose, and I was trying to be a bit smart, thinking, okay, well, if the Knights win, they're probably going to win 1 to 12, and there's a good chance Best scores because he's got a good history. And I thought, that left edge is pretty potent. Unfortunately, he didn't score. But the good thing for me is that overall, I'm still tipping at 2 from 4, 51%, and I've made $1 profit for the year. So I'm not losing. It could have went the other way, and I could have been on top and James underneath me. But overall, we're tracking against what the Knights would do if you back the Knights every game. And at this stage, we're beating the bookies, and that's what we're aiming to do here for the total season. And both of us we're going to be in the black and doing well. So let's get on to this week. Let's go with you, James. I'll run over the odds brought to you by Topsport. We've got the Knights to win at $2.88. We've got the Warriors to win at $1.42. We've got the Knights at the line, which is -7.5 at $1.95. The Knights at 1 to 12 is $4.30, and the Knights at 13 plus is at $8.25. So have a think about it, James. If you're tipping the Knights victory here, and if they only win, the odds are they're going to win 1 to 12. What's your bet for the week? Are you going to hedge your bets? Are you going to go for the Knights to win and then have 50 on the win and 50 at 1 to 12? Or you could even have 50 at 13 plus if you want to try and get, stretch your odds out. Or are you just going to go straight head-to-head Knights?
That's exactly what I was going to do. The 50 Knights to win and 50 on Knights 1 to 12.
Wow.
And I think they're going to. I'm thinking they're going to win. If they're going to, it's going to be like by 2 points. It's going to be a close game.
It's going to be
a tough game.
Well, I'll put it on the record. I hope you're right. Okay, I hope you're right. I actually hope you're wrong on the 1 to 12. I hope we win 13 plus. All right, I am tipping that the Knights are losing this week. I logically, I can't back them. My heart backs them. I'm going to be cheering for them. Stuff the Warriors, but I can't back them this week. I can't put my money on the line. My 100 is going into the bank. It's not coming out. Unfortunately, I see too many edges to. I think the Warriors are too settled as a side. They have a higher strength rating. They have a better record in New Zealand, and I think there's too many question marks in the Knights. Our spine's still unsettled, and our second half is absolutely atrocious. 14 to 53. I think we're going to get found out this week. If I had to make a tip, I'd be tipping the Warriors 13 plus. There you go. I hate saying it, but that's my tip for the week. And I won't be putting money on that tip. It'll be going into the bank. And if the Warriors do win, they'll go to my tally, but I won't be happy about it.
Yeah, well, I look forward to seeing if that comes to fruition. Hopefully it doesn't, because I don't want the Knights getting smashed. But we'll have to wait and find out how it's going to roll.
Yeah. Well, I guess the whole point of this process is to get enough information to make decisions like that. And I guess going through this process has led me to make that decision. So let's put it on the line here. The Knighthood podcast this week is tipping the Warriors to win 13 plus based off the stats. James has gone the other way. He's gone 1 to 12 Knights victory. So you heard it here first. And that basically takes us through the pod for the week. Any final thoughts, mate?
No, mate. I'm just hoping the Knights. I think they will put in a great performance. Like I said, they'll get up in a close one, but they really do have to rectify their second half performances, which we highlighted earlier tonight. That's an absolute must for them to win this game.
If you like tonight's podcast, give us a subscribe. So we do this live 7 o'clock every Tuesday for the entire season. Apart if the Knights are not playing, we're definitely not going to do it. Give us also a thumbs up, a like, so that gets us in the algorithm so we can share it out to more Knights fans and punters alike. We are also on Spotify and iTunes. So if you want to go on the audios, you can find us there under the Knighthood podcast, and all the links are in the description below. We're on social media. We have a Facebook page, we have an X page. We're more active on X. We provide expert insights as the match is running, and they also may be some punting insights as well throughout the match on Sunday. So yeah, don't miss that. All right, mate. Well, thanks for your time. Good to see the Knights jersey on tonight. You're the leader of the predictions at the moment and the betting tally. So you're the big man with the big bank. So let's see how we go. I hope you're the winner this week. I hope the Knights get up, and I hope that we're 2 from 2 after the 4th round of the 2024 NRL season.
Absolutely, and we'll come back next week and talk about this game. And I really look forward to it.
Yep, tune into X on Sunday, guys. We got to hear the Knights on X. I shared the Knights in the sheds singing the team song, and let's hope we hear this one on Sunday. Up the Knights.
Here we go.